Welcome to On the Record, powered by Leaders Lead Network and Speak University. That sounded really official. I'm Tony Taylor, and this platform exists for one reason: you, the voter. Every election, we are asked to choose the people who will make the decisions that affect our families, our communities, our schools, our businesses, and our future. Yet, too often, we make those decisions based on campaign ads, mailers, sound bites, or even headlines. I wanted to create something a little bit different. On the Record is a place where candidates actually step away from their campaign slogans and have a real long-form conversation about who they are, what they believe, and how they intend to lead if elected. My commitment is simple. Every candidate is treated with respect. Every candidate is given the opportunity to answer meaningful questions. And every voter deserves the information that they need to make an informed decision. Whether you're voting for city council member, school board member, commissioner, sheriff, state representative, state senator, member of Congress, or any other elected office, my hope is that these conversations will help you better understand the people that are asking for your vote. So I ask you, as you watch this interview, I ask you to take some notes. Think about the things that really matter to you the most. Compare the candidate's answer, and remember that many of our guests have agreed to engage long after this conversation is over, because informed voters build strong communities. Now I'm going to give a fairness statement, and then we're going to get into the interview. Before we meet today's guest, I'd like you to know that every candidate on the ballot for this office has been offered the same opportunity to participate on the record. So that means I reached out to my next guest opponents and said, do you want to come on the show? So that they can know. Our mission is not to tell you who to vote for. Our mission is to give you information that you need to make an informed decision by yourself. Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Taylor. Are you here for Leaders Lead the podcast? Let's go. Hey, how did you beat me? Look, let me tell you about this podcast. We got like 5 seconds. Leaders Lead the podcast is about leadership. Not just the leader without, but the leader within. All of these leaders that I'm talking to across the country, well, across the world now, they have one thing in common, and that's that they have overcome some insurmountable obstacles to get to where they're at today. Come on, let's go. Joining me today is Michelle Gipson, who is running for a Thurston County Commissioner. Michelle, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. We're definitely going to talk about public service, the responsibilities of the office, but I really want the public to know the person behind the campaign. How does that sound?
Okay. Sounds like the Wizard of Oz, but okay.
Yeah. So before we start, I'd like to know, who is Michelle Gipson?
Well, let's see. We'll start with the now and then maybe go a little bit backwards just to tell you how I got here. I am a grandma of 5, mom of 3 biological and 3 bonus children. So a little Brady Bunch action happening here. I've been in the community for I started counting. I arrived at Fort Lewis in 94, and so I've been around for a little bit. My kids went through the school, now grandkids going through the school, all of the things. But how I got here is I'm an immigrant from Jamaica. I came over as a teenager, my sister and I, to join our mom, who had already been in the States 10 years before. So it was 10 years before our family actually coalesced. And we arrived via New York 2 months from the tree jungle to the concrete jungle was very interesting. But my mom had married someone who was in the military, or who joined the military. And so we did the whole around the world, around the States and around the globe via Uncle Sam. It was a little challenging as a teenager to be giving up some things, but also it's memories that I cherish to this very day. I don't know that I would do anything differently. Met my first husband in Germany. I have 3 wonderful kids as a result of that marriage, but that marriage ended when we came to Fort Lewis. Then I had to decide what next, because now my kids have been all over the place. We don't really have roots. So I researched, and I intentionally chose Lacey as a place to help me raise my 3 children as a single mom. I was looking for safety and I was looking for healthy, and I got both of those things in this community in 1999. The story I've been telling about that connects why I'm focusing on housing as a priority is that when we moved to Lacey, we knew no one. We had no family. There was nothing there because this was not supposed to be a part of the plan. And so we had to think about, like, how are we going to do what we're doing? And there's a lady, and hopefully she'll hear this story somewhere, who was a landlord, and she gave my single Black self with my 3 children an opportunity to move into a home. She didn't really know who I was, right? She didn't have to do that, but she did. And if not for that, life could have been a completely different scenario. And so, we did that. We've been around doing all the things, doing things the hard way, and just kind of building life. And since I've been here, I've done several things. I got my bachelor's at UW-Tacoma in business and with a concentration in accounting. The goal was accounting, but it happened right about the time my marriage was drifting. And then I got my master's in computer information systems. And I did that because I was working as a tech support, network support for a manufacturing plant in Tumwater. Now, ask me how I got to that, because honestly, I taught business software back in the day when people actually paid to go learn Word and Excel and business writing and all of that stuff at a vocational school for adults, and how that translated into me managing the CPUs and RAMs and network and all of that stuff. I don't know, but the position, it's who you know sometimes. So a friend of mine, they didn't have that position. And so she got me in, and it was 1999, if that tells you anything. Y2K.
Yeah.
I did a whole lot of learning on the fly. It was probably the hardest but most exhilarating thing I've ever done. Because it wasn't like in my scope. And I did that for a few years. So in the meantime, I've found my niche as a nonprofit person. I actually started out teaching classes and doing all of those things. I'll say Zumba because that's where I started. And I love Zumba because of the community. And every time I talk about that in any interview, I put that in, because it's not because the word Zumba, it's because of the community that program reflects. And I really appreciate that. But I've been with the Y for almost 17 years. I'm the operations director for the 2 branches in Thurston County.
Oh, wow.
And all the things. So
No,
now I'm on the North Thurston School Board. And my whole goal has been to give back to this community. So I volunteer a lot. I do service. I serve on boards. But yesterday I was reminded in another meeting that I was in that I joined the Rotary. I actually invited myself in the Rotary. I don't know if you understand that process. Usually someone invites you and they're your friend, or they introduce you. But I just walked in off the street and I'm like, I'd like to join this because this is a community serving organization and I'd love to be able to maximize my efforts, like to be able to work with people who also care about the community. So that is where, that was a mouthful. So I'll stop there and then let you ask.
No, that's I love it. It is sounds like you've had a pretty interesting life and career. I think that's incredible. So you got your degree, you ended up going into a space that you kind of like push your way through. You're on some boards. Sounds like you're doing a lot of volunteering for the community. And you and I got something in common. We both got divorced while living at Fort Lewis.
I don't know.
It's JPLM now, but I got a divorce in Fort Lewis too. So no, I'm there with you. No, I appreciate you for sharing that. I think the listeners and the viewers, they are going to, they probably listen to this like, oh, wow, that's really cool. You've had a life full of experiences. And I'm curious, when you look back on your life, what experiences would you say shaped you to become like the true person that you are right now?
Oh, geez. Life is full of that. I don't know if I can point to any one thing, but there are things that stick in the memory, So, as I said, I didn't come to live with my mom till I was a teenager. So I lived with a different family, different values, different. So moving to live with my mom, that was not just a culture shock and moving to a different country, but the experience, it was huge. And so that experience has had an impact. But also a positive one because, I've been able to live in different places, experience different people, different cultures, something that might not have happened if that change hadn't happened. My last year of high school was in Germany. My last year of high school was in Antwerp, Germany. And I was adamant I didn't want to go. And then I got to do my first 2 years of college at University of Maryland, which was in Munich. So every negative has like a positive that comes out of that. And that was like 2 of the best years of my, young adult life. Then I came back to the States and I went to University of Maryland, College Park, and my major was pre-med. But honestly, my parents, I wasn't a scholarship child and my parents didn't really have the resources. And I remember that I was on a 10 meal a week plan. And I walked 30 minutes to and from work, which was a walking job. It was sales. And that was, it was as thin as I will ever be. And that was hard. That was a hard time in my life. And I think my soon-to-be husband at the time, he did more to help. And I think that kind of shifted my focus away from school. It was kind of hard to focus when you're worried about like, how am I going to eat? All of those things. So yeah, there was a big gap in me finishing my education just because life was hard. But and all of a sudden I feel teary. I'm not quite sure why that is, but
Oh,
the
because of the
there
moment.
yeah they're just there are lots. But again, out of that negative came my marriage to my husband and my 3 beautiful kids. So everything that could be a problem has some positive, that makes you forget, how you got here in the first place. Yeah, so there are several things that have shaped who I am. I care about people. Peopling is hard. I'm not saying I'm a martyr. I just say I care about people and I want the best for people and for the spaces that we're in. I'm from Jamaica. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Maybe it's a Southern thing also, where like you always get people together with food and there's always a reason to like gather and have community. You know what I mean? And whatever that thing is that brings people together. I absolutely miss that. I don't experience that now as much as so I would, so many things.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from that is that it hasn't just been one experience. It's been life that's shaped you all together, all these different experiences put together in a culmination of the person and woman that we see today. Did I get that right?
Yes, I think so.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I can imagine that people listening to this like, wow, okay, that makes sense. I've known that there are people, accomplished people like yourself. They always have mentors in their life, mentors or people that are influencing their life a little bit. And I'm curious, do you have any mentors or leaders, people that you look up to, people that's supporting you right now?
I think I am now. I think so. The Leadership Thurston County has a youth program, and for 2 years I've been invited to be on a panel. We just sat on one, and both years that I've sat on it, one of the what would you tell your teenage self? And that's my advice is find a mentor or a circle of people who can help guide you, help you kind of navigate and find your life. And I feel like I missed some of that. When I was in Jamaica, my family, they were all educated, there. So I felt there was that kind of, that's why pre-med, all of these things, right? It's like the whole islander kids, their parents are like, boom, 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 this is what you're going to do. And when I came to America, I think I lost that. Again, my mom really, she wasn't, at that time, she didn't have a college degree. She didn't really know how to navigate some of those experiences or to kind of help guide us. So I figured out a lot on my own or the hard way, or you know what I mean? And looking back now, I'm like, damn it, I wish I had done that a different way, but there really wasn't that voice or circle of influence, I guess.
That sounds like you had to blaze your own trail.
Yeah, there's been a lot of learning the hard way, which isn't always the best way. So I salsa dance, I don't take lessons, and it shows. So because I do it because I love it, I can feel it, but the nuance of what you learn when you're learning the details, like that part is what's missing. So bad form is what you end up with.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, give the role at work. I've developed a couple of close friends or associates, not at work, but because of work. And then because I'm running, there are lots of people who have kind of formed a circle around helping to navigate me through this process. So the importance of having a mentor, a circle of whatever you want to call it is critical, I think.
Yeah. No, I love that. So who are the people like politically that are kind of teaching you the ropes? And I'll be honest, full disclosure, I consider everybody that come on the show my friends, the people, because I always get something from anybody that comes on the show. I'm always like, oh, okay. And then, I look down the road and 6 years later, we're still connected. And I'm like, how did I meet? Oh, I interviewed him. That's how.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Who are some of the people like politically, if you can say that's been kind of showing you, oh, Michelle, do this, or what's up with this, or.
So that's another thing. It's like, oh my God, there are a lot of voices, especially because there are things that don't come naturally for me because this is not a space that I've lived in. But there are some key people. I'm assuming it's okay to give them a shout out. Carolyn Cox has been a big support. My campaign manager, Danielle Westbrook, she is amazing. She helps. They're just Marin Turn. They're just people. There are too many names to name. There are lots of people, both political and apolitical, that have been that have kind of come to the wherever they're coming. To kind of help guide me through this process.
No, that makes sense. And I always ask people that because you can tell a lot about the person by the company that they keep. And like some of the people, Carolyn Cox, I haven't had any interaction with her. I do know who she is. Marilyn Turner, I've been enjoying seeing some of the videos and stuff that she's been doing on social media and some of the stuff she does for TCM. Yeah, no, and I watched her first. It was almost like I was so happy for her. I watched her first when she first got elected for a council member. I was just like, oh, that is so cool. That is so cool that she's there and won and is now doing the work. So I'm curious, if your closest friends were doing this interview today, how would they describe you?
So I'm going to tell you, I don't like describing me. And also I get really uncomfortable when my friends start talking about, she's this and that, but I'll tell you what I've heard. And that's part of the whole, I come from a humble household. Like, don't toot your own horn, blah, 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 all of that. So it's a skill that I'm still working on even at this age. But people describe me as steady. You see me smiling now, but usually people are like, I can't tell what you're thinking. Are you happy?
We got that comment. We got that comment. I swear, like when I'm thinking, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like when I'm thinking, I've heard people in my comments, they're like, why you look like you're mad? I'm like, no, man, I'm intrigued.
Yes.
They call it an RBF.
Yeah. Well, everything doesn't have to have some big response. And so most people are not comfortable with quiet. And I am absolutely okay right there. And I will wait for a person to get an opportunity to gather their thoughts, say what they have to say. I'm an excellent listener, which means then I get a lot of story because people know they can come to me and feel safe sharing whatever it is they're feeling. And they can trust that it's going to stay right there.
Wow.
Can I just stop right there?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Wow. No, that is incredible. So you're what I call the humble leader?
Yeah, and that's has its pros and its cons, because I don't feel like I need to be a cheerleader, or I need to. They're picking up glass, so I hope you can't hear that. Or I need.
I could hear it, and the guests. This is the real life. That's the beauty of this. Who cares, right?
I'm sorry, but yeah, or that I have to be on a soapbox, or I can still give you what you need, or share what I have to share without the drama.
Mm.
And that's hard for people. Some people want me to be a different thing, which is funny for me, because I think people say, just come as you are. Just show up as you are. Just be you. Except you need to smile, or you need to be loud, or I'm like, this is a contradiction. This is who I am. And if I try to be somebody else, that's not going to last very long, and that's going to show, as in, so I try to bring myself to the space. I realize that sometimes I'm in the space with people who have lots of energy and lots of personality, and I don't try to compete with that. And I also I'm not envious of that, because we need all personality types, right? So
that makes sense. So it sounds like you enjoy people but you enjoy people in the way that you enjoy people in. I would imagine that were like people with strong personalities would wear you out, because they sure wore me out after a while.
That's the introverted side, though, right? And I have lots of friends who are like high energy and just bubbly, and just everybody loves them. And I'm tired after 30 minutes. But they're my friends, so I can be like, ooh, I need a minute.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. That's around the time where you say, well, it's time for me to go home. I'll see y'all later.
Sometimes.
So, let me ask you this. This is our listeners. These are their favorite questions, these rounds. I had taken them out. A couple of people said, how come you're not asking people the quick, rapid fire questions anymore? I was like, oh, because the guests thought that they were annoying, but the people actually like this stuff, because they give them a chance to get to know you. What would you say? So I'm going to ask you several quick questions. Don't feel like you need to answer them long. You can say them. So favorite restaurant?
I don't have a favorite. It depends on my mood, but often when I want to drag my husband somewhere, I'm like, yeah, let's go to Hops and Drops, because they make the best lemon drop.
Ooh, okay. No, I mess with their lemon. I like their lemon. I forgot about their lemon drops. I usually have a beer when we go there. I remember we used to get those a while ago. I think they called it someplace else before, but now it's something different. It used
to be Hop Jacks. Now it's Hops and Drops.
Yeah, and somebody made them change their name or something like that, right?
I don't know the history, but I guess just know it's different.
Yeah. All right. Favorite place in Thurston County, just favorite place in general.
These days, my fun factor is kind of low, because all I'm doing is working. I often go to the parks that are close by, so I don't do the rack too much. It's kind of busy. Rainier Vista. And I go to church. And later on I'll tell you about other things, but yeah, my fun is not a thing right now. So
I understand. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. Morning person or night owl?
I wish I could be a night owl, but I would go for morning person.
That's funny because I always see folks that are running for office. I know I kind of annoy them a little bit because when I look at Facebook, because I'm a night owl too, because I'm in school, I'm working, I'm doing this like 24/7. And so at night, that's typically when I do my homework. And I'll look sometime 2 o'clock in the morning and you'll see everybody that's running for office. They're online. And I'll say, you should get some rest. You see the little green dot on their Facebook profile.
That happened last night, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, what in the world?
Are you a reader? Do you read?
I used to love to read. Now I read things that I have to read. It's not the same thing. So I find myself doing the whole audiobook thing on occasion, but I don't get to read as much as I used to. But I do love reading. What's your favorite
book that you've ever read or listened to? I like audiobooks too. When I like to tell people, yeah, I read that book. And then I tell them I listened to it. They say, oh, it's not the same thing as reading. But hey, you're still getting the information, right?
So if we're going to go with classics, that far back, and what still sticks with me is War and Peace.
War and Peace. Okay, love it.
And then I just thought of my. It's actually because it ties to what I'm doing, and customer service is a thing. But there's a Disney book on customer service. I can't think of the title right now, and it's the Disney Magic or something like that.
Ooh,
it's fascinating. I'll have to look that title up and tell you what it is. I can shoot that to you by email. But yeah, it's fascinating. If your job is about how we not just serve customers, but create magic create an experience that is like that Disney factor. Yeah. So
I love that. Yeah, no, that's something that we have in common. I love that. I literally, I think I posted this a year ago or something, but I was just like, I miss that kind of customer service where every other word out of the person that I'm on the phone with or that's behind the counter says, honey. Oh, okay, honey. Or, okay, baby. I have missed that kind of customer service. Nowadays, you call somebody and you just you get off the phone and you cry because they hate their job.
You might get that in the South still, but in other places that's frowned upon.
I like that, to create the magic. Why do it if you're not gonna have fun? So dogs or cats?
Cats.
Okay, I like it. What's one thing that people will never guess about you? And I can give you as an example. I can give you mine if you want to jog your memory. I grew up watching talk shows. I love Oprah, Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones, Maury Povich. They were like I used to watch them 8 years old, watching that stuff and loved it.
I'm pretty open book. I don't love TV series because I don't want to have to go back and catch up and figure out what's going on. So, and I don't necessarily really love television. So I will turn on things like Murder, She Wrote and Perry Mason, where they're just background noise. Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome. This is so cool. I appreciate you being so open with me, because that's the one thing too that I believe with everything that I am and everything that I do is like you can tell a lot about a person by who they associate with, what they do when they're at home alone. And it sounds like the TV is not one of those, TV or social media is not one of those things that are that gets your attention. So I think that's interesting. That is interesting. And I'll tell the audience, the folks that are listening, folks that are watching, I thought it was really interesting that with Michelle, we were talking kind of about social media, and what I've gathered is she's one of those people that just do the work. Right before we got on, I happened to open up my phone, and I see the Olympian. There's an article, and they're talking about a vote, and you see Michelle. She's working. So I think am I getting this right about you? Like if I was to would my character profile be correct?
Yeah, I think so. When the school board has been my first experience as a politician, and the dais is not my favorite place, right? But the work that happens when you're away from the dais, engaging with the students and getting into a teacher's classroom and seeing how they do their work and understanding the process from behind, all of that for me is fascinating.
What's the
bench that we sit at when we're having our meetings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Why is it not your favorite? Is it because, that's because, sorry, I'm a little bit removed. I know a lot of people are listening and probably thinking like, what's this? What's that? Is it like where, when y'all are having y'all's meeting and the community is that's where you get grilled by the community pretty much, right?
It doesn't really happen too much. Every now and then, if there's a hot topic, and that's not the part. It's just it's call a board meeting. Can I say that?
I get what you think. I get what you're saying. It's a board. Yeah, board meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we just go through and we have to do the things like, vote on the thing or discuss whatever. It's interesting, but honestly, I'd rather be out engaging with folk. My hands are everywhere, all over your screen. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So
I'm curious, has there ever been a controversial vote or a vote where they got like any backlash?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh man, I wish I could have did that again. Or the reason I did it was because of this. Like, what would you say would be the biggest one?
When I first joined the board, our first big task was to hire a superintendent. That one was for everyone. That was a hot topic. The community got to meet some of the candidates, and the process was hot. That was challenging, especially being new in the role. But we made it through that, not without hiccups, but we made it. The most recent challenge has been the budget. We had to make some decisions about the budget based on declining enrollment and state fund cut, the same thing that almost every entity is going through right now, just trying to navigate how to keep doing business while doing it with less. Now, in the nonprofit world, that's what we do every day, like do more with less. But at this scale, you've got to still do all the things and figure out how to. We had to make a vote on not, we don't, as a board, we don't do the staffing, et cetera. But, we will question, make sure things follow policy. But there was a vote that had to happen about a cut to a particular department that required the board's vote separately. And unfortunately, it required reducing the number of mental health professionals that were available at the school. And the vote, I voted it was a challenging.
It sounds like it.
I know people think I just got up and said, yeah, let's cut the swing. But honestly, the amount of questions and discussion with the superintendent that happened prior to sitting at the dais, and even when we got there, there were still like more, questions that needed to be fleshed out. It is not easy to get into a seat and say, yeah, I'm going to cut somebody's position.
Yeah.
People I knew personally were impacted by that. It was a challenge. And so when you ask about backlash, that was a tough call. And we had to weigh that against all the other possibilities. It just wasn't it wasn't a win-win. There was no, it was just hard.
No, sounds like it.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Yeah. It sounds like, because you have the information. What I'm hearing is like, you have the information that you're new in your role, and
not for this particular one. This was recent.
Recent.
So,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So how do you handle that criticism?
I mean, I can understand. I just have to empathize with the people that are impacted. It's not about me. It's these people now have to make a major decision or shift, or you know what I'm saying. So people are impacted, and I absolutely understand that. And I'd love to not be able to have to make those decisions ever again. But things aren't getting any easier. Every time we turn around, there's a cut to this or a cut to that or limited, it's just like, we've got to be able to continue to serve our students while doing so with fewer dollars, and our dollars depend on the number of students. And if the students aren't there, that's like one factor, right? We don't get the money. So it's a big, it's a lot of things to consider. At the end of the day, the person that's impacted is hearing that my job has been cut.
Yeah, no, that is rough. I've been in situations before where I had to let go of people, and it's gut wrenching to have anything to do with that. There's no good time. There's no bad time. There's always going to be like feelings hurt. And no, I appreciate you sharing that with me, because I do, and not with you, but just in general, I do see backlash for certain votes when it comes to elected officials. And that's the one thing I've always wondered, how they take that criticism. What are they doing with it? Like, was it easy for them? Was it hard for them? And it sounds like it was that decision that you're talking about, and other decisions where that's happening is a hard decision.
Yeah. Whether it's school board or the job that I'm doing, if there's an issue, COVID was hard. Let's go there, because I think that's probably the time that I experienced that the most at the nonprofit side, is like things had to change, because you could, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to do half of what you can do, and you can't afford to also continue to pay a ton of staff. So you're constantly having to weigh the bottom line with the impact on the people that you serve. It's a hard balance sometimes.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Again, I don't envy you at all. That's why all my friends that are in public service like that, oh my God, I tip my hat off to you all, because I've always had this thing where I'm just like, man, I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to love me. And then when that's not the case, I get sad. So So I'm curious. Let's talk a little bit about this office that you're running for. I'm curious. First, why public service? Why Thurston County? Why this office?
Yeah, I think I started at the top of the by introducing myself as somebody who absolutely wants to give back to the community that has helped support my family through some challenging times. And so I've done that by doing the volunteering or whatever, serving in whatever capacity. I was fortunate and I'm blessed to have had the opportunity to serve on the school board. And I absolutely love that position. In case anyone is wondering, I do love that position. Why the county? It's an opportunity to bring a different leadership style, to bring a different perspective to this board. I think with the divisive climate that we live in, there's so much that's pulling us away from focusing on the work that needs to be done. And I think you asked me, how do I manage? Basically, this is how I manage. This is how I manage stress. This is how I manage problem solving. I describe myself as a good listener. I describe myself as I haven't, but I am an objective person in that I don't go in with any preconceived idea about a person's motive or plan. You have those discussions. You're sometimes not going to end up in the same place,
Right.
but you don't automatically shut people out. And my philosophy is there's a lot of work to do, and we all need to be at the table to get this work done. And so you do the best you can with navigating personalities. I think that's the thing. I bring that strength. I think people trust my leadership style. I think people are looking for something for a little bit of steady and a little less distraction, and I'm here to offer that.
No, that makes sense. And so, yeah, steady, and that's something that you've said that your friends and family would say about you is that you're steady.
Yes.
Do you feel like that it hasn't been steady as far as when it comes to like the county and the county commissioners?
I think politics in itself brings a lot of drama. It's just the way it is. And people have described, what happens on the inside as either dysfunctional or distracting or whatever the thing is. And if we're talking more about those issues than the things that need resolution, then we're missing our opportunity, right? So I hope to go in and be that person you see with her head down and a pen on a pad because I'm plotting how to solve a problem. I don't want to be the distractor. I don't want to be the constantly talking about Michelle. Let's just get the work done.
Yeah. As you traveled around Thurston County, is there something that you continuously hear from the voters, your potential future constituents?
Lots of varying things. Lately, there's been, this has nothing to do with the county, but trees. People are upset about trees right now. I've been hearing a lot about that. Yeah, the removal of trees, because the whole idea is we need to build. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We need to build. We need to We need to take care of the people that have no house and the people that can't afford to that need to get into affordable or accessible housing. Where do we do that, and how do we do that so that we're not impacting the environment and the reason why people love Thurston County in the first place? It's called the Evergreen State for a reason, right? We need the voice of community at the table as we're making these major decisions. So people are, they're upset about those things.
Yeah.
Some people talk about the homeless, the people that the houseless, the people that live in the jungle, or the concern about not also having wraparound services for people as we try to put them in houses. And I understand that the jurisdictions are all trying to get better at coordinating efforts so that all of that is happening. It's not an either or proposition. People need to be in a house, and people need services to help them either get better or get to good, whatever that looks like. I'm trying to think of others. Those are, hot button topics. And the people that the data centers is a new hot topic. It's like, it's not a new hot topic, but it's getting hotter.
Oh yeah.
Literally, I guess. And how we navigate or not that set of circumstances so that we aren't burning our environment. So issues like that.
So it sounds like it's a kind of like a spectrum of issues that you're hearing from the voters. That's interesting that they say the trees. I've noticed where there's different parts where there's nothing but trees, thousands of trees, and then you freaking go one day, down that street that you haven't been down there in probably 2 months, and it's flattened. And I keep telling myself kind of the same thing that you're saying is hopefully that it's going to provide some sort of housing for people. And also you brought up a really good issue with that I hadn't never really considered. I heard you say housing and wraparound services. I think that's interesting that you brought that up. Do you think that's an important aspect that we're not talking about enough, or do you think that we're doing a good job with that?
I think people are talking about it, and people I think there's work happening, maybe not fast enough. There's a sense of urgency. There's more need than supply for all the things, both the housing and the mental or medical. One thing I try to be careful about when I talk about houselessness is it's that there's a spectrum, right? There's not everybody. We talk about it as if everybody on the street or in the jungle has a mental issue or a drug issue. There are people who couldn't afford their rent, who are in their car and they're, sleeping on the side of the street, or there's so many other there. So if we think about the fact that there's a spectrum, we need to remember that we treat people with compassion, period. And it's not a pariah. It's an issue that we need to resolve, and we need to get there faster. How do we do that? My theory is, I think I see the jurisdictions doing more collectively, and we need more of that. But not just the jurisdictions. We need our nonprofit folk. We don't have enough money, so how do we also find opportunities? They're nonprofits that work with mental health or social services. Like, how do we pull all the people in to be able to chip away at this issue or these issues?
Okay. Oh, thank you for explaining that to me that way. I'm curious, is there a group of people that you feel like in our community that does not get enough attention as far as support.
Can you clarify?
Like, you know, like you brought up the houselessness issue. There are certain people that is the thing that's like their mission because they feel like nobody's paying attention to it. There's some people that are more focused on veterans, the veteran care, or there's people that are more focused on people that are running for agriculture. Is there a group of folks that you're just like, man, I wish if I could just shine the light on them? For me, it's kids with chronic illnesses like pandas. That's one hill that I will freaking die on. They don't get hardly.
What is the illness? I'm sorry.
Pandas. It is what happens. A kid, they'll get strep throat, and it can also happen with different illnesses, but they'll get strep throat, and then the strep ends up going to their brain. And what it looks like to the parents is OCD. They'll get tick. Their behavior will suddenly change, and then they go to school, and then the school will recommend them for all these different things that don't really support them. Doctors don't really know what it is. First responders don't know what it is. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And it's something that me and my family, we've vowed to raise awareness, like for the rest of my life, at least. But yeah.
Is you talked about the doctors not really knowing what it is, but you have the ability to go and seek,
it's fringe. Yeah, it's really fringe. I mean, if you can't just go to a normal doctor because the doctors, they haven't heard of it. We've had, and full disclosure, I got to say that, I have a child that has it. We didn't know what it was. We've had different agencies tell us, oh, it's this or it's that. And we're like, no, this is this person. This is her, my child freaking a week ago. This is her today. Something is not right. Luckily, we were in a situation to where we had an amazing teacher that fought for us. We had those wraparound services that we talked about that told us maybe it could be this, but when it comes to doctors, when it comes to legislation, when it comes to insurance, it's that definition of being pretty much medically gaslit for thousands of families. And the way that they really get help is through, a lot of people would cringe when I say this, but if it wasn't for a Facebook group, I don't know where we would be as a family today. So it's a bunch of parents all over the world. But yeah, I was curious, and I didn't want to make this about our situation. But
no, I appreciate that story. What I'm thinking often is a rising tide lifts all boats. It sounds, you had some medical support, but let's talk about insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that wasn't a barrier. So if you're asking me, legislation, like how do all of those things?
Yeah, they're all barriers.
Yeah, it's like, how do we make it so a family isn't, because all of this then leads to some of the other issues we talked about. I got to take care of my family. And if you're not fortunate enough to have good insurance, you're in your car or, all the options that have to be there. So how do we make sure our public health is accessible to people? That's a question.
Yeah.
So I don't have any one issue. I've told you about my story. My daughter right now is going through, which is why I kind of I've latched onto this. Okay, how do we make sure? Because once I'm gone, I want to make sure that my daughter and her children are taken care of and they're not struggling. I'm not leaving them in a way. And we've got 6 kids, so and one house. So how do I make sure that they are taken care of and they're not wondering where they're going to be sleeping?
Yeah.
If there's not a support system for them. So luckily right now they have it. For her, she's in that situation because of a little bit of domestic insecurity. I don't talk too much about that right here, but that matters too. So everyone's concerned about the state of support at the county when someone needs help in that capacity. So there are more people that have that experience than people realize, and it's all physical. So those are issues that are important to me. The big issues, but sometimes we get to the big issues because we have to also iron out these little issues, like how do we make sure that you get the proper medical care so your kid is taken care of and you're not worried about, am I going to eat? Those kinds of things. So a rising tide lifts all boats. If we take care of the people at the bottom, it makes things better for everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I appreciate you saying that. Let's shift as we're kind of like at the tail end, and I know the listeners and the viewers, they're got some questions, and hopefully we can answer these questions before we get out of here. But now that I've gotten to know you a little bit better, I want to shift to the responsibility that you're asking the voters to entrust in you. And I'm curious, why does the office of the Thurston County Commissioner matter, just in general?
It matters because we get to make sure that our systems are functional for folks. So we've got proper infrastructure. We've got safe roads. Our police are supported and also doing the right thing. That our legal system is able to, meet the needs of people who need that service. The scope is broad, and the communities vary. It's such a vast. My little Lacey is just a part of the bigger picture. And how do we make sure that we include, that people don't feel excluded from the process, that are on the, in the counties and further, further out in like the Dakotas and so on. And I think the county commissioner's job is to make sure that we can do that, build bridges. And I don't mean the literal bridges, but, in building relationships in order to bring people into the process, have the people have a voice at the table and be able to solve or work. It's continuous improvement, improvement. Yeah.
Yeah. How long, so if elected to be the county commissioner, how long do you sit in that seat before you ask for re-election? Is it 2 years?
It's 4 years.
Oh, it's 4 years. Okay.
So the 2-year experience is because they moved from 3 to 5. And so usually, all of those offices stagger. So not everybody's being elected at the same time, which is why Emily came in with a 2-year.
Oh, okay. I see. Thanks for explaining that.
It's 4 years. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So imagine, you got a pretty good imagination?
Yeah.
All right, so imagine you and I are sitting here 4 years from now, and I'll tell you this, I'll tell all my guests, you're always welcome to come back to the show. You got something you want to talk about? Please come and talk to it with me, and we'll do our best to make sure that the community is informed on whatever it is that you want to talk about. Always willing. But imagine you and I are sitting here 4 years from now. and the people that are voting for you are watching this, what do you hope people will be able to point to and say, you know what, that doggone Michelle, she kept her word?
I want people to be able to trust the people sitting in those seats, trust the process. You don't have to love them, but know that they're all in it for the best interest of the community and that they're serious about the job. We want to know about the work people are doing and not the detractors, distraction. I want to know that I'd love to be able to hear people say, this is a great place to work, this county, versus, instead of hearing someone describe it as dysfunctional. I think that gets in the way of doing the work. And I'd love to be able to say, all the things on our list of hopes aren't necessarily accomplished in 4 years. But we're continuing to work towards making those improvements. And here are some things that we've actually, made better.
Thank you. Is there a question that you were hoping that I would ask today that I didn't? If so, you could, what is it? I'm curious.
I honestly had no idea what you were going to ask. So I wasn't hoping anything. I just came and like, okay, let's see how this goes. People are looking for a clear distinction between the people that they get to choose for the seat.
Mm.
And we all love our community. We all want, improvement. We're all saying the same things. We want people to be housed. We want our safety in our community. We want an environment that our grandkids can live in. Absolutely. And I think what I bring different to the table is that I'm not excluding anybody from making all of those things a reality. I am determined to build relationships and build bridges and get people at the table who are serious about making our community top notch and a place that people want to live and thrive.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Can we imagine a little bit more? Is that cool?
You're testing me. Imagine.
So I like doing this exercise at the end, and if you'll humor me a little bit, and that's my hope. At the end of this election, people will look at this interview and just to see like who Michelle is. And I'm curious, as the person, they're walking in, they're getting ready to cast their vote, they got their phone in their hand and they're listening to this video. And I want I'll let you close out the episode. What would be the last thing that you would want them to hear? And the floor is yours.
Wow. Closing statement. I think if you're asking for leadership that is different, that is steady, that is ready to roll up sleeves and get the work done, I am your candidate. I look forward to be able to serve in this position. If you're wondering why I am skilled or qualified to do that, you will hear my opponents talk about their abilities, but my scope is broad. And I've introduced that by saying I have the leadership skills, the professional skills, both as in business, in operations and programming, and human resources that I think are perfect for this position. If I can learn to run a network, I think it speaks to my ability to learn, and I am ready to jump into this role and make a difference. I hope to have your vote.
Ooh, that was great. If you enjoyed this podcast, well, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you're still here with us, what I want you to do is head over to your favorite podcast and streaming network and give us a download, subscribe to the channel, and also let us know what you think about the show. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for the things that you've done. Thank you for the things that you're doing. And especially thank you for the things that you're going to do, because I know that you're going to do something amazing.